Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is kind of nerve-wracking for me because I've never done one like this before. I've never done a story time, if you will. So I'm a little nervous. I don't know how good of a storyteller I will be. I feel like I am known to ramble a lot. I talk a lot. And I'm also one of those people that I've been told by my friends and family that when I tell stories, I take forever to like get to the point, or like I build up like this long beginning and then it's like, yeah, and then I tell them the main thing and they're like, oh, really? So I wanted to do my first story time on this story because it's probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. At least in my opinion, like bad crazy. Not as in like, oh, I snuck into a music festival, which I did. I will be doing a story time on that as well. I think that will be my next one if I do good on this one and you guys want me to, because if not, then yeah. So there is a little pre-story to the story. Like I said, I like to give a good beginning. So the story takes place in New York City, Times Square to be exact, and my sister and I, my sister Madison, my older one, we were there for New York Fashion Week, which was so amazing. I had such an amazing time and I love New York. If you guys are familiar with a designer named Michael Costello, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, I actually followed him on Instagram, but that's pretty much it. And then I actually unfollowed him probably like a couple weeks before we went to New York because a lot of his stuff just seemed kind of like immature, to be honest, and like mean, and he was kind of like calling out a lot of his clients and showing texts and stuff. I don't know, it didn't seem very professional to me. But anyway, if you guys weren't aware, my sister is older than me and she has been in fashion design school or whatever, going to college for fashion design for so long. She has really dedicated a lot of her life to it, and so she was obviously very, very excited to find out that Michael Costello was having a meet and greet right in Times Square during the days that we were there. So we went there, we waited in line, and while I was waiting in line, they had screens in the store basically showing designs, you know, catwalks, models coming down the catwalk showing off the new collections. And I happened to catch one of the dresses and it had a fur, like a long fur, I don't even know what those things are called, like, I don't know, like scarf made out of fur. Anyways, it had one of those and I was almost positive it was real fur. It looked like real fur, and most of these up there designers, they use real fur. Obviously, as a vegan, I'm super against the use of real fur because why on earth would you do something so barbaric and so uncivilized? Like, we do not need fur for warmth at all because we have faux fur. I mean, it's 2017. We have cars that drive themselves, and you're telling me that you can't figure out a way to make a jacket warm without torturing an animal and literally ripping its skin off? Like, anyways, before I go on a rant, back to what I was saying, I was standing in line, saw the image, just started going off in my head like, you know what, I really wonder if this designer that I'm standing in line to meet and about to take a picture with and have a little conversation, because he was actually, you know, conversing with the people, which I thought was really awesome because some people are just like, bye, but not him. So I was like, you know what am I gonna say? Because I don't really, I mean, I love fashion, but I'm not into like designing and all that. And so I was really there for my sister, and I was like contemplating what I was gonna say, and I really just wondered. I asked my sister, I was like, do you think he uses real fur in his designs? Because I don't recall seeing any on his Instagram, but I just wasn't sure. And I wanted to be sure because why as a vegan am I gonna be standing, or just not even as a vegan, but just like why as a, you know, anti-fur, somebody who doesn't approve of that, why would I be wanting to meet a designer that uses that? You know what I mean? I asked Maddie and she didn't know, and so I was like, well, I'm standing in line, he's right there, I can ask him myself. And so that is exactly what I did. I'm not exactly, hold on, I have to burp. So I get up there, I shake his hand, and I was actually in my head, I was gonna be a badass and like deny the picture if he answered my question and said that he used real fur. And that didn't end up happening because the picture was taken before I asked him the question. So the picture was taken, I turn to him and I say something along the lines of this, I don't know if this is word for word, but I was just like, I really, really love fashion, and as somebody that is directly in the industry, I wanted to get your opinion on the use of real fur. And I don't know what I expected to come out of his mouth when I asked this, but definitely not this. And this is what he said, word for word. And he said it with the same kind of demeanor too. He said, "Sorry, but I like it." And I was just kind of like taken back and like in shock, and I was like, oh, he likes it. I panicked, I did. I panicked and I said something completely stupid that I'm honestly not gonna repeat here because I'm so ashamed of what I said. It was my nervousness talking. I was literally just like, "Oh, okay, bye." It was awkward and just like, not good. And so I will let that burn in my memory forever. So I scramble out of there pretty like, not mad at myself, but just like, that was stupid and that was not what I wanted to have went down. You know, I was really proud of myself for asking because I'm not really one to just kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of like a hard question to ask. And I just figured in my head while I was standing there, I was like, you know what, grow a pair of balls, Alison. If you want to do activism, if you want to get in people's faces, well, not that you would want to get in people's faces, but that kind of comes a part of the job when you're, you know, going against the normal thing. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a badass and I'm gonna do it. And although it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, I just kind of reflected on it on the walk away from the Inglot store. And on that walk, and I do want to put this out there that I know in some storytime videos, I guess people like to exaggerate or make the story sound a little bit more interesting or a little bit more dramatic than it was, but I'm not kidding when I say that I am not dramatizing this story at all. I promise I would not lie to you about this. I told you at the very beginning that this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, or craziest interaction with the craziest motherfucker on the planet. Okay, let's get into the story. So we're a couple blocks away now, just walking on the sidewalk, and what do I happen to come across? Right in front of me is a giant cart of fur coats, vests, like just so many fur coats. There had to have been like 20 to 30 fur jackets. And you could tell it was real. I knew it was real. And so I'm walking past it and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, do I say something? Do I try to redeem myself from that last interaction I had with somebody who is apparently very apathetic to animal cruelty? Or do I just walk away and not say anything? And of course, I had to do it. He's just one person just sitting in a chair next to his cart. He's an old ass man, white hair. I want to say he's in like early 70s or late 60s. Literally could be my grandpa. I am closest to him. My sister is on my left side and we are walking right past him. So I turn and I look at him and I ask a simple question. Is that real fur? And he just looks at me and proudly says, yes it is. I wasn't going to start a scene. I wasn't going to say anything rude. I turned around and I said, well, shame on you. And then I turned around and I kept walking. That's it. That was it. That's all I did. I just triggered the craziest man in New York City. I swear to God. I was walking away and he goes, shame on me, shame on you, you hypocrite, you're wearing leather heels. And he like yelled this across the like street or sidewalk or whatever because I had kind of been walking away. I'm a couple steps ahead of him now. And so I turn around and I'm like, oh shit, I just got a reaction out of this mother. I took it as like, I don't know, like I just wasn't intimidated at all at this point. He's like some old shit, like what do I care, you know? I'm gonna have a nice conversation with him and explain why I said shame on you and explain that he's wrong. I'm not a hypocrite. So I turn back around, I look at my shoes, I point to them and I kindly say, sir, these are faux leather because I'm a vegan and I don't support animal cruelty. And no joke, as I am saying these words to him and pointing at my shoes, he comes charging at me. He gets this close to my face. Noses are almost touching. That is, I've never had anybody get in my face like that, let alone an old man. You do not do that to a young woman. Like, it was so inappropriate. So I back away from him because I'm like, the hell? No, there is called a bubble. You don't come in it. I thought everybody knew that, but apparently not people in New York. So as soon as I was saying I'm a vegan, he cut me off and goes, you're a bitch. I could literally feel his like, so I'm like appalled at this point, but I'm still laughing because I'm in disbelief that like an adult just treated another adult like that. Like I'm still just like, am I in the Twilight Zone? What is happening right now? And I'm in New York City, guys. Like keep that in mind. There are people passing every single which way, constantly going. I mean, this is an altercation happening. This is a scene. He is raising his voice, calling a young woman a bitch in her face. I mean, people were looking around. They were like startled by it, but not one single person like stopped to like get him away from me or be like, yo, is everything okay? Are you good here? And not one. They just kept making faces like. So at that point, I'm like, all right, this dude's crazy and this is not acceptable. Like that made me mad at that point. Like, you just don't do that. At least in my, like, the way I was raised, you don't treat people like that. And I could tell it was like gonna get uglier because this man's face was like, you would have thought that I just murdered his entire family in front of him. Like, that's how mad this man was at me. Oh, it was bizarre. It was crazy. Like, he was crazy. He was out of his mind. At that point, I was like, Maddie, film this. Like, this is gonna get, if this gets bad and he like punches me or something, I need this shit on camera. That's just what you gotta do these days. You need that video evidence. So Maddie starts filming on her phone and she's like standing kind of like off near like a pole or something. She's kind of just off in the distance watching. She said she was like too scared to intervene or like, you know, say something about, I don't know, she was too scared. So she was off and I'm glad she was over there because she got some footage. So I turn back to the man and he's literally like he's literally gritting his teeth and his fists are like literally like shaking. He's like and like staring at me. Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. And yeah, so I literally look at him and I said, are you really gonna talk to a lady like that? And he looks at me and he says, you're not a, oh, I need a drink for this one. You're not a lady, you're a cunt. No joke, word for word, right in the middle of New York City. Yelled it right in my face. And yeah, that was interesting. That was a first. Unfortunately, Maddie didn't get that on camera. She had just started filming right after that moment. But when he said that, he literally gripped his fists and kind of like went towards me like that. At that point, I was like, okay, you are not going to clench your fists at me. I thought for sure, like, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that this man was going to punch me in the face. I'm still surprised that he didn't lay a hand on me, to be honest. Like, that's how psycho he was in that moment. And so I said, what are you gonna do? You're gonna punch me? And he takes a couple steps back, and I don't think he got it on the camera. I think she had just started filming right after this happened. But he literally said, this is what I'm gonna do. And he literally reaches down into his pocket and like starts shuffling around in his pocket, and I thought instantly in my mind, he's going for a gun. He has a gun in his pocket. I'm dead. I'm dead. I remember the first thought that came into my mind was, this just got really bad. I was kind of like laughing in the beginning and like, haha, you're crazy. And then right when I saw him reach for his pocket, I was like, oh god, I did something really bad. I'm sorry, I just wanted to run away. But he rips out his cell phone, and then you guys can see what he does next.
You're gonna hit me?
No, I'm gonna film you! You're harassing me, I'm gonna sue you! I have a right to make a living!
How am I?
Get the hell away from me, you're harassing me.
I'm harassing you?
Yeah! I'm sending it to goddamn the police.
Okay.
I'll get a restraining order on you.
Hi 911, hi police. I'm just calling this
She's
man
harassing
out.
me, I'm a veteran, I have a license. I have a right to sell anything I want.
I don't care if you
I
have
have
right.
10% American
It's very
Indian.
wrong to... Why? Okay, I'm just gonna walk away.
Yep. So that is the psycho ass man. And did you see him charge at me at the end? Like, look at his face. I'm going to slow-mo it so you can see how, and this was not even the worst of it, okay? This is Maddie filming after I had to tell her to film. So like, the worst of it was out of the way, and this was already a 30-second interaction, like just what she filmed. So whatever was before, this had to have been a 2-minute, you know, scene going on. I honestly do not know what would have happened had I stayed there and not walked away. I think he would have eventually punched me. Honestly, I would have taken one for the team because I wanted to shed light on the fact, like, that's also why I'm making this video. Like, I wanted to shed light on the fact that these people exist. This behavior is not okay, and I got it really, I feel like what happened was kind of dismissed in my regard because a lot of people were just saying, that's New York, that's the people of New York. They're just out there trying to make a buck and they just don't care about other people's feelings, I guess. It's just a dog-eat-dog world out there, and the manners just aren't the same like here in the South. So I understand that, I get it, but I don't think that's an excuse. Like, I don't think it should matter where you're from. I don't think that should dictate how you treat other people. The fact that he treated a woman like that, you might as well have been screaming at a child, because like a young woman is just as bad when you're an adult man. You just don't do that. So I did walk away pretty pissed off, and he said something something about me being a bitch again, and I said go to hell. At that point I did get mad and said go to hell, and then as I was walking away I heard him say from behind me, he said, I will see you there. And that was that. That was a story of me almost getting beaten up by a crazy man in New York. And honestly, I will end it with this, that I did get a little bit emotional afterwards, not just because I was in a state of shock. A block or two later, I literally had to stop and was like, what just happened? Like, I didn't know if I should like call the police. Like, that was harassment. I don't care what anybody says. That was harassment to the 2nd degree. I Googled it after it happened. But I did just let it go, and I will just have to live out my revengeful fantasies in my mind. And hope that one day his karma will come to him and maybe he gets skinned alive. But I did shed a couple tears because I am a little pussy, and actually it wasn't even that. It wasn't just because I was scared, but it was just the fact that, like, again, not a single person helped me. And that just really kind of broke my heart, and was just like, wow, I just lost faith in humanity for a minute and just made me emotional. And I was like, that sucks. Like, you people suck. But that is the end of my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want any more story times, and I will try to make them for you. Yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And yeah, bye guys. Mwah.